Okay, May 4th. May 4th, 1970, Richard Nixon receives word that the National Guard in Ohio had opened fire on some student demonstrators, killing 4 students at the Kent State University. The protests at this time around college campuses across the country were in reaction to Richard Nixon announcing on the 20th of April that we had formally started invading Cambodia, or started attacks into Cambodia. We didn't want Cambodia to be used as a safe haven for the North Vietnamese. And so this idea that the war had spread beyond Vietnam really riled up people across the country. So these protests sprung up all over college campuses. So at Kent State, on May 2nd, there were some protests. National Guards were called out to kind of put down the protest. Tear gas was fired on the students. The students dispersed. May 4th, classes resumed. And in spite of the fact that they were told not to, about 2,000 students gathered in one of the quads and refused to move. And so the National Guard advanced with bayonets on, fired tear gas, tried to get the students to disperse. The students refused. And some of the protesters just stood their ground. They started throwing rocks, started taunting the soldiers. So without any sort of warning, the National Guard opened fire. They hit, it was 28 National Guardsmen. And like I said, 8 were wounded. 1 was permanently wounded, paralyzed. 4 were killed. The closest casualty to the National Guard was 20 yards away. And the farthest 250 yards away. So so it wasn't like the students were right on top of them. So the students then refused to move. They kind of regathered someplace else, and faculty were eventually able to get the students to calm down and to leave the area. So that happened today. And by the way, in 1974, the criminal investigation into the incident cleared all 8 National Guard soldiers that had been, the charges had been levied that they believe that they are the ones that either instigated the shooting or had hit the students. So that's what I have for today. 1970, Richard Nixon received word that 4 students at Kent State University had been killed by a National Guardsman. I will see you tomorrow.